start from the beginning.
Okay. Well, I was a little late this morning because one of the heels on my favorite pair of pumps broke, and Lester's was out of my favorite tea. You know how I love my chamomile. Well, and...
Okay. Maybe not the beginning. Start where things went haywire around here.
Hey Ghost Heads, it's Heidi from Channeling Spirits, and today we're going to be discussing what happened after the 1989 hit Ghostbusters 2 and during Ghostbusters the video game, a work which, for a while, was considered the third installment of the franchise.
It looks more like the sequel than a game. It tells the third story.
But since Ghostbusters Afterlife, that might not be true. If it is canon, it provides quite a bit of information between the two films. Immediately after stopping Vigo the Carpathian, there was a deleted scene where the boys in gray restored the Statue of Liberty back to Liberty Island. How? Maybe they walked it back?
I don't think they make Nikes in her size, Ray.
In the November 27th, 1988 draft, the guys realized they accidentally returned her with the torch in the wrong hand. They also received a key to the city, which is seen in the firehouse in the video game. Since Vigo has returned to his portrait in the video game, whatever initially eliminated him didn't last long.
Death is but a door, time is but a window, I'll be back.
To be fair, Vigo was a Class 4 anchored phantom, sufficiently elevated to a Class 7 transformed mortal remnant. The boys likely severed his connection to the psychomagnetheric slime, but he clearly repossessed his portrait.
Well, you're probably feeling what Vigo is feeling. Carpathian kitten loss. He's missed his kitten.
Dana and Peter, regardless of their rekindled romance, did not last long enough to even be mentioned 2 years later. It's easy to assume the same issues that separated them had resurfaced.
It was when you started introducing me as the old ball and chain. That's when I left.
But the Ghostbusters comic book series by IDW reveals their split had more to do with Peter realizing the pestering paparazzi that descended with each new threat wasn't healthy for Dana or Oscar. Considering Lenny Klotch's mayoral term wasn't up until 1993, and he had aspirations to be governor.
He's running for governor next fall, and the last thing we need is for him to be associated with two-bit frauds and publicity hounds like you and your friends.
He probably won the November 6, 1990 gubernatorial election. This allowed for a new mayor to be elected, Jock Mulligan. Interestingly, Mulligan is played by Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray, who also played an unnamed psychiatrist in Ghostbusters 2. Is it possible these characters are one and the same?
Are you kidding? You can't buy publicity like this.
We know Mulligan
Rode to office on a strictly pro-Ghostbusters platform, and we now invoice the city directly for all captures and eliminations. And unhaunted New York is a tourist-friendly New York.
and the Ghostbusters were big supporters.
Look, this city has given you at least a dozen contracts for the jails, courthouses, and wharves. You guys want to grow your business. Get some county and state work, too. I'm all for it. You've been big supporters and great for my campaign.
To ensure the Ghostbusters wouldn't be continuously sued again,
the mayor and the city have taken out an extensive insurance policy as well, so you're covered.
The constant business allowed them to produce advances in the gear, like upgrading their vehicle to Ecto 1B with the soon-to-be functional Super Slammer.
The Super Slammer? Sounds untested. Tacky and exciting. I'm in. But will it work?
Ghostbusters the video game also introduced aquatic transportation, the Ecto 8.
It's too unstable. I'm gonna have to drop you guys in circle. If Ecto 8 sinks, we're sunk too.
Which begs the question, what happened to Ecto 2 through 7? Well, other media accounts for many of them, but they probably aren't canon. The real Ghostbusters introduced Ecto 2, an autogyro, which was featured in several episodes of the show. The series also featured Ecto 3, but only in 2 episodes. It was a unicycle with a sidecar. The toy line had a significantly different Ecto-3, and yet another Ecto-3 was featured in the Now comic series. However, an editor eventually noted it became the jet-like Ecto-4. The IDW comic series featured an Ecto-5, also known as Ecto-M, referring to the fact that it was a motorcycle. Since the series technically took place after Ghostbusters the video game, maybe this was around before. Ecto 6 and 7 have never been named in any official source, but there have been several other Ecto vehicles in various media, including the Ecto Bomber, Ecto Crane, Ecto Junior, Ecto Limo, for those weddings, Ecto Fire Truck, and the Ecto Garbage Truck. Speaking of trash, what happened to Walter Peck? Though he didn't appear in the sequel, the August 5th, 1988 draft of Ghostbusters 2 did include him. Despite his disgrace, he is now an assistant chief duty investigator.
You had your chance to cooperate, but you thought it'd be more fun to insult me. Well, now it is my turn, wise ass.
He clearly remained active in city politics, allowing him to supervise the newly formed PCOC.
Peacock? PCOC, Paranormal Contracts Oversight Commission. And my first official act is going to be suspending you clowns' operating license.
In addition to the keys to the city issued for the Manhattan Cross Rip of 1984, as well as Vigo's power grab in 1989, another key was given in 1990. Considering the absence of the World Trade Center in the New York skyline in the game, it's possible whatever event caused its destruction also resulted in the third key. The August 5th, 1988 draft had the guys investigating Ed Petrosius, a Bond salesman in the World Trade Center who spontaneously combusts. While he doesn't burn the Twin Towers, something destroyed them. The real Ghostbusters featured several ectoplasmic manifestations haunting the World Trade Center, but it would have likely been a greater threat that toppled the buildings in the universe, something akin to Cthulhu.
Cthulhu? I heard of him. He's bad, right? He makes Gozer look like Little Mary Sunshine.
We also know Ivo Shandor had been possessing the mayor for months before November 1991.
An evil ghost was walking around in your body for a few months.
Whoa.
The manual included in the Xbox version of the game has a job offer for the rookie dated June 16th, 1991. June 16th was also the North American release of the game. However, the rookie, unnamed the entire game, does not have his first day for several months. It's possible this letter was actually sent to one of the previous recruits.
No names, Ray. I don't want to get too attached to this kid. Just in case. You remember what happened to the last guy.
The latest employee begins just before Thanksgiving of the year which historically happened on November 28th. The entire video game spans 3 days, and the rookie is thrown right into the fray. In the prologue, a woman is seen running through the Natural History Museum, followed shortly by a psi energy pulse that travels throughout Manhattan, eventually hitting the Ghostbusters firehouse.
Had to be some sort of psi energy pulse. Substantial, a significant collected and centralized necromantic convulsion, level 7 or more.
Now, it isn't stated that this is the same museum as the real-life American Museum of Natural History, but it is fair to assume that they are one and the same. The current American Museum of Natural History's hours are listed as 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. most days, save for Thanksgiving and Christmas. If those hours were also historically correct, the prologue roughly takes place after 6 p.m. on November 26th. The psi energy pulse prompts the release of Slimer, who returns to his original haunt, the Sedgwick Hotel. The boys in gray follow him to his point of origin and spend some time there.
Yes, you have destroyed a significant section of a 5-star New York hotel in just under 3 hours. Your mother and I are so proud. Aren't we, Egon?
Winston is mentioned to have been on a date to see the opera Aida, which has a runtime of roughly 2.5 hours. Quickly after that, Winston reports that Gozer has manifested in this dimension once again as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and is wreaking havoc throughout the city.
It wasn't me this time, I swear it.
We now know that the Stay Puft Corporation was doing just fine as of 2021. In fact, in Ghostbusters Afterlife, the art and making of the movie by Ozzy and Inguanzo, we see they've expanded to mini marshmallows, marshmallow fluffed, and even Stay Crisp, a graham cracker for s'mores. I want s'mores. A few of these products are even seen in the film. But in 1991, Stay Puft has his own kids show.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, star of the popular children's television show, is on a rampage. This is not the Stay Puft we've come to love.
Apparently, in this universe, there was no Children's Television Act of 1990. The night concludes with Stay Puft's destruction. However, this is only the beginning. The morning of November 27th, the Ghostbusters look to investigate the Natural History Museum after finding the mysterious woman of the prologue, Alyssa Selwyn, was being pursued by Gozer. Hoping to find some answers, the boys initially look to investigate the museum until a call comes through regarding their first official case at the New York Public Library main branch. While at the library, they discover evidence of a sinister plot, as well as further proof of the timeline, with Winston noting,
In the periodical section, checking the box scores from the Knicks game last night. Why?
Which would have corresponded to the historical game that previous night where the Knicks beat the Miami Heat 98-81. Their pursuance of the Gray Lady also lands them in a cross-dimensional portal. Upon exiting, they discover a mysterious mandala. The Ghostbusters eventually do make their way to the museum to the opening of the Gozer exhibit, which Alyssa mentions.
Well, the mayor's going to be at the museum for the exhibitioning opening gala tonight. It's where I need to be too.
Meaning that the gala likely started after the museum was closed to the public. The event reveals the museum, like the library, is another node in the mandala. The following day, Thanksgiving, Peter mentions the holiday weekend.
Well, get real, Ray. It's the holidays. Nobody in this town's going to be around to pull our license till Monday. We got the whole weekend to stop this calamity and probably half a dozen others, save the city. We got a 4-day weekend. We have time left for ourselves.
Further evidence of the holiday is shown on their television, which reports Thanksgiving Day parade floats are attacking, which was actually a deleted level from the game. The commentator also explicitly mentions Thanksgiving with,
This just in. As authorities continue to supervise the Thanksgiving evacuation of Manhattan, increasingly powerful tremors are rocking Central Park. The question is, where are the Ghostbusters?
All those events culminated into the third part of the Ghostbusters story. After halting the apocalypse at the dawn of 1990, the original Ghostbusters reunited for another brawl to avert Armageddon. But we now know this wasn't the end of their story. If you enjoyed this video and think we deserve it,
That ought to do it. Thanks very much, Ray.
please subscribe. Be sure to check out our official merchandise, including exclusive blueprints of your favorite Ghostbusting gear. Check out the link in the description to see what's available now. Select Patreon tiers get 5 to 10% off. As always, keep coming back for more spooktacular videos. I'm Heidi with Channeling Spirits, and thanks for watching.
Peacocks?
Don't say cocks.